I also want to say thank you to Ms. Kim, because back to the time when I started to learn what Ethereum is and what's programming language, I go to this translation program and I literally introduce this to all my friends and relatives in mainland China about what they should do. And for example, recently the merge. So I really appreciate. My name's Laura. I'm from Consensys. I'm in charge of Asian strategy. And also I want to link this back to the previous presentation saying the reason I choose this position is I want to connect Asian market to blockchain and to bring more figures about what's happening in Asia. It's like, for example, in certain countries of Asia, the unbanked populations actually can be as low as below 50%. And for most of the population in emerging countries in Asia, people actually learn blockchain before they have, for example, a bank account or a securities account. And that's literally changed the next generations, their vision about, and also their visibility about what the global market looks like. So here is actually a snapshot of our products, infrastructures today Consensys offered to the Web3 builders. You may or may not heard about Consensys, so the question will be, who is Consensys? I've been asked about this question a lot in Asia, and I was also happy to hear this question because that means we got more people joining Ethereum ecosystem, and we got all this great talent learn about Ethereum. So you may or may not heard about Consensys, but I'm pretty sure you're at least users of one of these products. Say, you may use MetaMask and MetaMask institutions for your transaction processing. After this project turning 6 years old, today we have around 13 million MAU on it. You may start to use Truffle to start code your first smart contract. You may use Ganache when you try to test your smart contract in a local environment. And then early this year, we have Truffle together with Ganache being integrated into VS Code so that we can offer better development experience. And then you may heard us a week ago as Consensys Diligence. So Consensys Diligence is a top-tier audit service provider. And we're trying to bring this offering on-chain by introducing Turn token. And then I believe as a developer, you're more familiar with Infura. Say Infura, which is one of the largest JSON RPC endpoint API service provider for blockchain, and with over 400,000 developers today using it as an infrastructure for their own blockchain projects. And last but not least, we have ETH1 clients, Hyperledger Bisu, we have ETH2 client, Teku, and all of them, the entire protocol team in Consensys has been well prepared for the merge. Get back to the topic today, saying building infrastructure for Web3. So why I choose this topic is because based on my experience, building Web3 is always a very complicated project. It's not only because the technology itself very complex, saying the logic or the architecture for you to start a blockchain project is actually totally different compared with the logic when you start a Web2 business or Web2 application. It's also because we always lack of tools and infrastructures. It's not because the ecosystem is not growing. It's just because it's growing too fast, meaning that we're always short of tools when there's a new use case coming on board. So that's why we see us together with our products contributing to the development as well as broad application of blockchain technology, and which will be the key feature of Web3. Say, when the ecosystem is expecting more and more financial and non-financial related use case coming on board, we see blockchain technology will ultimately be a compulsory part of future complex software, and that's actually a mission we have for Web3. And in that case, whatever things we're building today will all be considered as a blockchain infrastructure for a Web3 era. And that's why we see, that's how we see the future of internet, and that's why we are targeting to offer the best product suite to Web3 builders. So today I will bring two products. The first one is Infura, and the second one is named MetaMask Snaps. So first, I am not going to ask what's on top of your mind is the most popular use case today in blockchain. Here's my list. So we start from developer tools and service, and I need to highlight saying self-custodial wallet, like MetaMask, should always be in this category. And then we have custodian wallet, we have centralized exchange, decentralized protocols, analytical tools, and more recently, game development with blockchain features. And if you try to simplify the architecture of your project, it can always be summarized in this standardized way. Say, you start with your smart contract coding, you do the deployment at mainnet or alternative layer 1s, layer 2 sidechains, and then you introduce a front end in Web2 way and make sure that people can go through this front end, connect to Web3 and send transactions, have an interaction with blockchain through JSON RPC endpoint API, connect to all the networks that you want your users to. And this is not only about dApps. It could be a higher API for your blockchain game. It could be an NFT marketplace. And for those kinds of projects, you need to build the off-chain part as another portion of your software. So that's how you can understand what Infura is. Say today, Infura as the world's most used blockchain infrastructure supports tens of billions on-chain API requests per day. And we have UK experience the best experience on scalability and flexibility. The product launched in 2016, and in 6 years, we grew our developer unity from zero, and actually zero means MetaMask, to over 400,000 and still counting. You all know these names in the screen, but there are thousands more building Infura now, and I believe you will all know their names in the future. So what people use Infura for example, MetaMask together with MetaMask Institutional, they will use Infura to send transaction and doing the transaction processing. Developers, they use Infura to start their new Web3 projects for free. Well, for emerging networks and protocols, we work with them and support their ecosystem expansion by introducing, deploying the full node and offering scalable endpoints to developer union. And we see enterprise, centralized exchange, neobanks, they can choose Infura for their gas management optimization work, or say for backup options if they finally decide to run their own full node. So we see Infura is famous also for its reliability and scalability. See, especially when we have a lot of airdrops or mint events on chain since last year. The API suite provides instant HTTPS and WebSocket access to major EVM and distributed storage network, and is powered by our fast customer support. So here is a screenshot of how the dashboard will look like. It's not only for you see like how the usage of your API looks, but also you can get the idea about what's your user's behavior for your application. It's actually a starting point for your analytical work. In NFT AYC, oops, even though I didn't join it, in the events, we introduced our NFT API together with our SDK. So the beauty part of this one is that we offer multiple choices available for developers, whether you're on the journey to introduce your own NFT projects, you're just a consumer of NFT data, or whether you want to incorporate for personal, or you want to build a business use case around the infrastructure or the ecosystem. And here's another way you can understand the positioning of NFT API of Infura. Say, it's actually the foundation of Consensys' other products, including Consensys NFT Platform, which is a SaaS product we offer to global IPs and brands since 2021, as well as MetaMask. So every time when you want to show your own collectibles to your friends, it's actually calling our NFT API at the back end. Therefore, we build our products in a family style. Say, since we have internal dependency on the API itself. We will ensure that it's a best in class in terms of performance and scalability, and our users can assure that we will continue to put efforts and CapEx on it and try to include expansion in our roadmap. This is a simplified architecture of how the API and SDK works. It starts with Node.js, followed by Python, Java, and TypeScript. I include a sample flow about how you can use the SDK to introduce your own collectibles. And before I jump to MetaMask Snap, I want to reiterate about the resources that Infura is powered with. Say, Consensys represent the depths of protocol-level expertise. Say, in the block native field, our product line starts from Ethereum clients, endpoint API, higher API, use case product service SDK, and then end user connections through MetaMask. But on the other hand, we also have professional service team, customer support team who offer enterprise-level scalability capabilities and also advise Fortune 500 companies globally try to have their ecosystem connect to Web3. So that's all because Consensys is always trying our best to promote the application of Ethereum technology. We build up a big community around Consensys, both in the end user community and also developer union. And that's why that we're trying to package all the capability, resources, and expertise we have as a one-stop solution to the builders. And that's by the time when you want to use a Consensys product, what you can looking for. Here is the list of the resources we have for Infura. Please visit our website, infura.io, to start to set up an endpoint connection and join our Discord community to meet the Infura team. And here comes to the second part, MetaMask Snaps. So Snap is a trustless and secure environment that's going to be running inside MetaMask. So you can consider it as things or any features you want to introduce to MetaMask, now you can achieve it through Snaps. We believe, MetaMask team believe it's a further decentralization of the decentralized web because you only need permissions from your own users rather than Consensys or MetaMask team. So Snaps can have their own API and using the existing method we provided for by MetaMask. There is a link, and there is a great guide in the link to get started with the Snaps. So we list out the use case. Today we see the most popular one for Snaps, including first connect to non-EVM compatible chains or distributed storage networks. We have Falcon Snaps, BTC Snaps. You can have better experience as a protocol team if you want to bring L2 connection to MetaMask. And also you can have a better on-chain securities or keyword manager you want to introduce to MetaMask, for example, MPC solution on MetaMask. You can always, as a DApp on EVM chains, improve the UI UX for your application. So why Snap is so important to the builders? Say, Snap can empower developers to implement features that's currently not available in MetaMask. And rather than MetaMask team doing this optimization work for different use cases, we believe the best way to continue the journey will be introduce this framework. And therefore, it could increase the visibility of your own application. And the most importantly, it's a gateway to over 30 million active users on MetaMask. Snap, technically Snap is, as minimum, it's just an NPM package. It can be built with JavaScript, TypeScript, WebAssembly. It contains a set of metadata, and everything get bundled into a single JS file, and we have also provided a bundle for. You can easily get started and learn about all of this by visiting our Snap development guide, and it's included at the end of the presentation. Here is the demo of Falcon Snap. We also have another BTC Snap demo. And also in the list of the guide, you can find a list of awesome snaps, include like password management, MPC solution, P2P chat, DID experience on MetaMask. This will be all achievable through the Snap development. In order to develop a Snap and also improve the developer's experience on this journey, we also introduced Flask. So Flask is actually a canary distribution of MetaMask extension. You can find it I think you can find it in the Chrome Marketplace. And that's why I have to introduce a special purple mask on top of the MetaMask logo in order to distinguish them. So all development on Flask currently happens behind a build flag on your development branch. And meaning MetaMask Flask is the experimental proving ground for world's most cutting edge and innovative features. Giving this its ability to one day incorporate those lessons into the main MetaMask distribution. If you go to metamask.io/Flask, you can see that's where the developers can learn more about Flask, and then there's a link to the download page. This is the end of this presentation, so I believe there's a lot of things to wrap your head about. And here's the links I mentioned before, you can see all the resources you need to get started with snaps using Flask, and it includes like guides, tutorials, articles. And we really think snaps are going to be something very important. And that's why we are putting a lot of efforts on it. We are recommending all the developers who want to introducing their own features or their own apps optimization work to MetaMask today start to building their own snaps. And the link is tinyurl.com/mm-snaps. Thanks very much for your time.